Welcome to CHOK MUAY CHATS Season 2. This is episode 16. If you like these episodes, please like and subscribe. You can find them on YouTube and Spotify. So right now I'm sitting here with a trick of all trades, a fighter, a strength and conditioning coach, a man who runs his own online business. Welcome, Dougie Malagon.
Thank you.
I did say it correctly.
You did. It's good. Yeah.
Okay. So, Dougie, where are you based at the moment, and what are you doing there?
Yeah, I'm in Pattaya at Fairtex, and I'm currently fighting, but I'm also working with some athletes doing my strength and conditioning.
And what's your background in strength and conditioning?
I'd say, well, originally that is my first profession. So I started in 2009 as a 19-year-old kid. I started working in big boxes in Southern California, in the US, and just over the years kept going with it. I wasn't sure that it was something I wanted to do indefinitely. It was more like I didn't know kind of what I wanted to do career-wise, but I wanted to stay training. I love fitness. I loved sports. And then as the years progressed, I ended up moving to San Francisco, where I actually started training Muay Thai, and it kind of just grew from there. I never expected to be fighting or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's the telltale story of everyone. They sort of blossom into the fight career path. So, what was the catalyst for you fighting? What grew your interest in fighting?
Well, originally I did it. So coming from Southern California, I grew up surfing, and I was living the beach life. Exactly, I was living the beach life, loving that, great weather. And then moving to Northern California, totally different vibe. Really cold, heavier waves. I didn't have a car, so I was like, I need something that's gonna get my adrenaline going. And I just kind of started signing up for these Muay Thai classes. I met my first trainer, Bunkert and Nungsiam, who are originally Fairtex guys from back in the day. And just little by little, they kind of, as I got better, naturally, they pressured me to do my first inter-club kind of competition.
Yep.
And that was something that I would have never have expected myself to do. Get punched in the face and go back for more, but it just grew because I don't know it scared me so much to get in there and do it. But then after doing it, I mean, having fought, that I just was addicted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's that for me, I find it's the feeling afterwards. Once it's all done, it's like there's a big adrenaline rush after that for me. Because when I'm a little bit weird. Like when I'm actually in there, I hate it. But after it's the high afterwards that I really like. So moving on from your first couple of fights, you've made the sort of semi move over here to Thailand. What was the reason for coming over here?
A couple things. I mean, it was like the perfect storm. So I've been living with my partner, my girlfriend. She's Oakland native, born and raised, and when I met her, she was already talking about kind of moving, and I had spent about like 8 years in the Bay, and I don't know if you know what's going on there, but it's a pretty toxic city to live in many ways now. So, business has really died because of the pandemic. I just felt like I didn't really have any more room for growth with my coaching career. Especially I had a big, I was really going for this promotion that I got right at the beginning of the pandemic. Pandemic hit, threw it all away. I actually gave up fighting prior to the pandemic because that was one of the stipulations with the job. Was like, if you're going to be overseeing these training teams, we need you to focus full time, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Money was good. My original goal was to open up my own gym. So I was just going to make this good money and then pull out after a year or two and then maybe open up my own gym. And then just the pandemic came, everything shut down. I kind of had to reassess what my goals were, what I wanted to do. Vivian, my girlfriend, was ready to leave the Bay, and we were just like, okay, if I'm gonna get another shot at fighting, I'm 33 now. It's now or never. I didn't really think I was gonna have a chance to fight professionally or whatever. And then coming last year just for a short trip, I fought at Lumpini, and it was like, okay, I gotta go back for more before I'm done.
Was that on Fairtex Fight?
That was on Fairtex Fight. Was my first one.
Okay, all right, very cool, very cool. So that's pretty cool, that because I've never fought on any of the big stadiums.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Because a lot of people say, you know, that's the goal. That's kind of the pinnacle of the career, is to fight at one of the two big stadiums. What was that like, going there and fighting there?
I'm getting like the goosebumps now. I guess, like, for me, fighting was always just that adrenaline extra that I did outside of work for me to escape my, you know, because once you turn something into your job, training at the gym, lifting weights every day kind of wasn't really doing it for me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, just going and doing Muay Thai class at lunch back home and then doing amateur fights was already kind of like, I'd done a bit for more than what I thought I'd do. But then kind of knowing my coaches were Lumpini champs and legends and all that, I never thought that I would fight in that arena myself. So getting to do that was pretty special, and it was something I didn't think that I'd probably ever get to do. Yeah,
it's very cool. And where else have you fought in Thailand? I know you fought on Max Muay Thai, correct?
Yeah. I fought at Max, JF's a local stadium. I've had a few of those. I got to fight at Rajadamnern as well, which was pretty cool too.
On the knockout show?
On the knockout show.
Yeah, cool.
And I lost by knockout, but it's okay.
Mate, that's all right. I've been knocked out like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
But that was special too, because for me, my favorite stadium was Rajadamnern. I mean, back before I came to Thailand, that's what I was watching on YouTube. All the guys I liked watching fight.
Yep.
My first time coming to Thailand just on vacation, I went to Rajadamnern to see my first Thailand Muay Thai experience, and that was insane. Like, something about when you see it on YouTube, but then when you go in there in the stadium, you just feel it, and you're like,
yeah. And it would have been a good time back then, because it's when stadium Muay Thai was kind of not at its peak. It wasn't at its peak. It was dying a slow death, but it would have still been a good experience to be in that atmosphere, because that's hard to find now, unless you go to like Channel 7 or maybe one of the Kiat Pet shows. You know, that's kind of hard to find now. That would have been awesome, you know, to sit back then.
It was dope. I got to see not that first trip, but before the pandemic, I got to see Rodtang fight Sexon, and that ended up being like 2019 fight of the year. It was dope.
Yeah, I think I saw them fight 2000. I could be wrong, but I think it was 2016, 2017. So at Rajadamnern as well. So yeah, we're like similar planes of existence here.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's something else, because back then Rodtang wasn't the powerhouse that he is now, not the huge name that he is now. But you know, when you look back at things like that, you just realize how special Muay Thai is. You know, now the way that it's growing and accelerating in growth. So what I really wanted to talk to you about was strength and conditioning for fighters. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing at Fairtex? So you're training out of Fairtex, but you've been working closely with a lot of the fighters, working on their strength and conditioning. What sort of things are you doing with the fighters down at Fairtex?
Yeah, I'm part of the, you know, benefits of being here is that all the fighters you're working with are professionals. So like the intention of them when they show up to train and work out, it's one less thing that you have to work. You're not dragging people to workouts and whatever when you're working with athletes, right? So the thing is, the education as far as the basic strength and conditioning, the level of knowledge that's in the gym is not really there yet. So I've just been trying to shed a little bit of that base knowledge of the programs that I've been working on and that I've studied over the years. And I just try to, one, as like a teammate, also make myself available as like a resource to make sure that the fighters are doing things efficiently and, you know, from a scientific standpoint, and then, you know, not doing things that would maybe have adverse effects on their performance. So like a few of the fighters, you know, bodybuilding is like the most widely known form of training forever. And that's where I started too. Most people get into it.
Yep.
It makes your body look good, but how that transfers over to sport, it's not always best, or it creates more overuse and damage.
Yeah, right. I mean, they do say curls get the girls, but it's not necessarily great for punching. Yeah. So what kind of things would you, from your perspective, what kind of things could athletes do in the gym to enhance their performance, but they might not have all the bells and whistles? They might not have access to a squat rack. They might not have access to medicine balls or the big bike thing.
The assault bike.
The assault bike.
Air
yeah,
bike. I think
that's
the
one.
brand. So, yeah.
What kind of things could athletes do at home for a strength and conditioning session, or possibly just at a Muay Thai gym?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, the good thing is I feel like universally barbells are pretty accessible now. I feel like most people, even if they're like the home style, kit barbells, you can pack a decent amount of weight on there.
Yep.
So, at least most people have barbells, dumbbells now. But I've even been, like you said, to PK Senchai, and their little gym area is kind of used to be sad. I haven't been there in like 2 years, but not much in there, but they had enough, like dumbbells, barbells, a few bikes here and there. So, like the good thing is like powerlifting, right? A lot of the training that's going to develop that raw strength, your base of strength that you need, can all be done with barbells. You can use various kind of ways of training, like velocity based training. So not just how much you're lifting, but the speed at which you're doing it too. That can create a lot of benefits. There's tons of ways to play with it. You just kind of gotta get into it. But I would say the biggest thing for Muay Thai fighters that I see, and it's been a big problem, is overuse injuries. So all the running, all the pad work, most of the injuries that you see are like hip, knee, ankle overuse injuries, and then like kyphosis. I mean, like I even, we're like this all day. So it's like posture and hip, knee, ankle, and then whatever, obviously minor injuries you're dealing with on the regular as a fighter. But if you can kind of learn just a few corrective exercises that can at least longevity wise extend your fight career, help you get back quicker. So those two things, kind of barbell, a good solid barbell foundation, and then corrective exercises.
Now this is just one thing I wanted to pick your brain out about. And, I'm a little bit more chunky these days, and I don't really work out as much as I should. And I absolutely dread stretching. How important is stretching pre and post workout? It's
what you put into it. It's also, depending on who you are. So people have, different issues, but it's pretty dang important, and it goes a long way into kind of saving you from having problems down the road, for sure, especially as you get older, right? But I think a lot of people should look more into like dynamic stretching too.
Yep.
I think a lot of people kind of don't realize that they almost do a lot, like skipping rope, doing toe taps, moving your hips around, wiggling. It's things that can take 5 to 10 minutes, that you might actually be doing rolling out of bed, just trying to like get rid of some tightness in your low back. That if you just take 5 minutes and do like some proper movements, every day, active stretching, it goes a long way into helping you out.
Okay, so focusing on speed, velocity, not doing barbell curls.
You can do barbells, not barbell curls aren't bad either, but just not only barbell curls.
Okay, all right. Okay, so not focusing on mirror lifts.
Yeah.
And stretching is important.
It is.
Okay, what about, now this was another thing I wanted to pick your brain on, because everybody hates running. Well, not everybody, but how important is running for Muay Thai? Because there are certain people in the contemporary field of Muay Thai who say, oh, you only need to run like 5 kilometers 3 times a week. You don't need to be running every day.
Yeah.
But there are other people on the other side of the fence who are saying, no, you have to do 5 to 10 kilometers per day, because not only is it good for you know, conditioning, it's about building resilience.
Yeah.
In within yourself. How important do you think running is to Muay Thai?
I mean, I guess maybe biased. I like running to an extent myself, but personally too, I think weight management wise, also like staying on weight for your fights, so you're not ballooning, things like that. Running is going to be the way to keep your weight down. Like I said, the overuse injuries can be kind of the issue there with running 10K a day. Like Fairtex, you're running at least 10K a day. And where I would say kind of my opinion falls is if you're at a gym where the big boss requires you to do so, and especially if you're a sponsored fighter, you don't really have the say or opinion how to yeah. run program. So whether you need it or not, if it's kind of irrelevant, if you have to do it. Yeah. Scientifically, it's going to be amazing to keep your aerobic base. So your aerobic engine, your base training is going to be at something called low intensity steady state, which is actually, if done right, you know, if you program it right, you can become more efficient in your anaerobic state. And then as you get closer to your fights, then you can start to prioritize the air bike within like 3 to 4 weeks out and work that anaerobic kind of system. But you know, your base is going to be built over the weeks and months long term. And you have to do that first anyway. So you should be kind of running anyways, if not running bike, if you're in the West and you have a say over your cardio, yeah, sure. Do whatever is going to be low impact, or your, you know, whatever is going to keep you in that zone 2 training and build your aerobic engine. You have to have that to be able to recover between rounds too. So as far as not just, you know, being able to get into those firefights and exchanges and have that intensity and the energy up the whole time, being able to bring your heart rate back down between rounds or even between exchanges, you know, you want to have a strong aerobic base, and that's what you're getting from running. So maybe 10K might be a little much, especially if you're going from like, I don't know, you want to come to Thailand for the first time, you don't run at all, and then you're like going out every day and running 10K. Yeah, you're going to be thrashed at training. And the nutrition though is huge with it too. I think a lot of people don't understand sports nutrition. So you spend so many calories on that 10K run, you don't rehydrate halfway, or you don't drink a sponsor, you don't do these things, electrolytes, all that. Even me coming, I thought I knew a lot about it. Yeah. And I've done marathon training. So it's just different, the heat here and stuff too.
Yeah, and also the food. It's quite hard to get around some of the things like, you know, the heavy MSG or the heavy sodium in a lot of the Thai food. And then, you know, a lot of fighters are here on a budget. So, you know, they're eating local boat noodles or, you know, really high processed meat, which is not going to be the best stuff for you if you know, fighting.
I see Junior eat that all the time though.
Oh yeah, but they're
she's like 12 years old. Yeah, if you're like 30 like me, boat noodles ain't gonna do it for you.
No. Oh man, she's awesome. I was gonna talk to you about her because she is so awesome. She fought Angela Chang last night. Yeah. But the post-fight interviews were so funny. She seems like such a character.
Very animated. Yeah. Very serious in training though. I see her when she's on camera with Matt doing all that, but when it's time to train,
super switches on.
Yeah,
that's awesome to hear, especially for somebody who's so young. Just going back to strength and conditioning, the next thing I wanted to ask you is, can you tell us about your online business and how you can help athletes and how your programs help athletes?
Oh yeah, so long time coming. Super Muay Performance. I started it actually my first trip as a t-shirt company to kind of raise funds for me to come out here, and we called it Super Muay because I don't like having my face on things, and I didn't want someone with a shirt that was like Dougie. I wanted to give someone with maybe a cool little designer. Anyways, so that's how we came up with Super Muay, and long time coming. I've been wanting to do online programming even before the pandemic, you know, but when you work full time as a coach trainer, especially in San Francisco, it was like the cost of living is insane. So you're just grinding and then trying to train full time. I just never found the time to build a website, have someone help me do that, put all my programs on there. And luckily my partner's really tech savvy and was able to help me out with that while we were here. We had some downtime in between trainings. So I've got it up now. The link is in my Instagram. It's supermoyperformance.com. And so far I've just put on 3 of what I think are the most, I guess, relative programs for Muay Thai or fighter strength and conditioning. And one is a conjugate program that you could train year round. It's a 4-week block. You go 3 weeks on and then 1 week deload, and it resets, and you can train that year round indefinitely. So it's a congruent program, which is really kind of, I think, the most simple, efficient way to try to, if you're a fighter that's learning how to do strength and conditioning on your own or have a coach help you through it, it's like the most simple and effective, I think, tool that's something you could learn for a good fighter program. The other one that I have on there is a peak program, which is something that uses a method called French contrast training. It's a little bit more complex. I mean, both programs are like a mixed method approach. But the peak program I put on there, let's say you get called up for a fight, you got 5 to 6 weeks, you can hit this program for 4 weeks, and it kind of just puts you in that very high peak level right before your fight.
And can anybody do these programs with any equipment, or is it specific equipment that you need?
Yeah, so again, back to the barbells and basic. Yep. I designed it and the movements with it to be utilized with, I think, just the bare necessities.
Yep.
If you have a good squat cage or rack,
yep,
and a barbell, you can get it, man. Some medicine balls, but you can also kind of, once you understand the movement patterns, you can kind of interchange a few things. But I've also put links to each movement. I've gone ahead and given an exercise demo too. So,
Oh, awesome. You filmed it all. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. I filmed it all at Fairtex. And there's if you're not quite sure what the movement means, you can click on it. I tried to make it really straightforward. But that's all in there. We've even built formulas. So as far as the percentages go,
yep,
week to week, as you hit these progressions and the periodization, you can just do your 1 rep test on your.
Oh, that's whatever. Awesome. So you've got attainable targets that people should be reaching as well.
Yeah, and it does the numbers for you. So let's say on your speed bench day, you're supposed to do 50%, like a 1 rep max for this many reps. As long as you know your 1 rep max for bench, you can put that into the formula, and it's going to go ahead and calculate what 50% is week 1, and then week 2 you already are going to have that at the 55%. It does it for you.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. And it sounds like a really good program for athletes. The question I was going to ask you: who are some of the people that you've been working with at the moment, helping them out at the gym?
Oh yeah, it's been growing since I've been there too. So first person that I got to work with has been Celeste Hansen.
Oh, awesome. Yep.
Yeah, fellow Aussie.
Yep.
Badass. She's really hard worker, very hard puncher. Really easy to work with people like that are just ready to show up and train.
Yep.
Just do whatever you say. So that's been a really fun experience for me too, personally, getting to work with these fighters that are on one and stuff like that. She's got a fight coming up beginning of next month, I think. Celeste, I'm now working with Sheer Cohen too.
Yep. She was the winner of the Road to One Series 2.
Yep.
Absolute beast of a young lady. Yep.
Yeah. Andy Snoopy, you know Snoopy?
Yep. Snoopy. He's fought on Rebellion before over in Melbourne.
Yeah. Smila and Stamp have jumped in occasionally as well. That's always fun.
Awesome
to have them in there. Tai Nun Lei.
Yep.
She's been in the program, so good. A lot of people to work with. Kong Suk, Kong Suk,
yep.
Fairtex.
Yep.
I'll jump in. I'll do some bodybuilding with Y2K when I want to get back on the hypertrophy stuff. He's always in the gym. He's like the buffest guy at Fairtex for sure.
Yep.
So it's been fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You got the you got all the athletes there. You've got a good crew behind you. You've got the online thing. So if you guys want to jump on and check out Super Muay, where can they go and check it out?
Yeah, so the website is supermoyperformance.com. If you go to my Instagram as well, it's Muay Thai Dougie's my Instagram. The link's in my bio, and I'll link you right to it.
And I'll drop a link in the description below. And, well, thank you very much for your time, Dougie. I look forward to seeing you fight again. And I really like the work that you're doing with the athletes over at Fairtex. And thank you for time. I've learned a lot. Yeah. And I hope everybody else has. This is CHOK MUAY Chats episode 16. So make sure you share, like, subscribe, and check it out on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, John.